Welcome back, gang. So now we are going to be working in this section here in the post section with the days ago and the like and dislike functionality. So I want to bring in Moment.js to handle our days ago. So this is the website right here. Now I'm 50-50 about using this package because if you go to the docs, it explains that, you know, they're not going to be upgrading it or changing it in any way. They're going to keep it how it is pretty much indefinitely. And the problem with that is that when you install it, it's a very large package. I think it's like 250 kilobytes. And I mean, it works and it's functional, so we are going to be using it today. But they do also give you alternatives to check out, and some of them are similar to how this works. So I figured I would go ahead and just use this, and then you would get the idea of it. And then if you want to use the other ones, then you can, you know, try those out. Okay, so first thing I want to do is, if you do decide to install it, they have, I'll leave this link up in the description as well, but if you do decide to install it, these are the ways that you would install it. Okay, and then you would just format it however you want, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the CDN for it. So I'm going to grab it from, I'm going to use this one and just grab it, just copy, and then we'll head into our text editor and we'll go to app.blade.php. okay, and we'll add it right above our sweet alert script. So we'll do script, and then the source will equal the CDN that we just copied. Okay. And the next thing we'll want to do is create, we're going to make it global so that we can use it throughout the entire app, but we are going to make a filter for view. Okay, so we'll go to our app.js in the resources folder, and then let's see, how about under view component icon? Okay, we'll create view.filter. Open that up, and we'll call it time ago. Okay, comma, function, and then we'll just call it created, and we'll open up some curly braces, and then we'll add return moment created, and then we'll add from now. Okay, so this is just going to give it like 3 days ago, 5 minutes ago, just that's the way it's going to show up. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see. Let's go to our post item component, because that's where we have the created at coming in now. So we'll go up to, let's see, post body 3 days ago right here where we have it hard coded. Okay, and now we want to open up some curly braces in here, and then we're going to do post dot, because post is the prop that we have coming in, and then it's going to be the created at field from the database. You want to do a pipe and then time ago. Okay, so let's refresh and make sure that that is showing properly. We can close these. I'll also leave this one in the description. I'll leave both that and the main Moment.js in the description for us. So refresh, and now this is what's going to change. Okay, so as you can see, now it says a day ago, because we did make it a day ago, and that's what it is in the database. Okay, so now I want to start working on these like and dislike functions. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we're going to create a polymorphic relationship, because the likes are actually going to be not just for the posts themselves, but they're also going to be for the comments later on. So we want to make that a polymorphic relationship. Okay, again, there are tons of ways to do this, but I just found that this was the easiest. Okay, so we'll open up a new terminal and we're going to create a model. So it's PHP artisan make model, and then this we'll make it a like model, and then we'll also make the migration for that. Okay, so we can close this out and this out, and then let's see if our migration has been made. Okay, we'll open that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. Now, the first thing I want to do is put our relationship for the user. So it'll be table, unsigned big integer, and we're going to call this user ID. Okay, because these likes are going to be attached to the user who liked whatever it was. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the actual like, and we're making this an integer because what's going to happen is, like is because we're going to count the likes in order to display a count of the likes. So we need to have it as an integer to be able to do that. Okay, we're also going to add a default of 0, and the reason we're doing that is because let's say someone decides to change their like from like to dislike, they'll be able to do that, and then it would subtract from that like count. Okay, so we'll just keep that as default 0. Okay, the next one we need to do, let me move this down a bit. Okay, we're going to make this one dislike. Okay, and it's also going to be default 0. And then because it's a polymorphic relationship, we need to create a likable ID. Okay, and this likable ID will be will specify if it's going to be for the post or the comments. Okay, and the same thing for the, oh, did I do that? Okay, switch this back, dislike, and then we'll move this one up, and then we need to change this to a string, and this one is going to be likable type, and we don't need this default. The reason is likable types. If you go and check out the documentation for polymorphic relationships, it'll give you a better idea of what all of this means, but these are things you need to have in order for it to be a polymorphic relationship. So the likable type will attach the model to the actual like in the database. As we get into it, I'll be able to show you and you can see it a bit better. Okay, so now, just like the other models that we have, we're going to need to put these fields into the model. Okay, so we'll just copy all of these, copy, and then we'll open up the model, like model. Okay, and then we're going to have protected fillable equals an array. Okay, put the semicolon at the end of that, and then we'll go ahead and paste in the fields. Okay, so we can just highlight all of them and do them all at once. Okay, highlight all of them, put the single quotes around them, and then put commas after them, and that should be good. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is the next thing we need to do is we need to create the relationship in the model for the likable, for it to be likable. So public function likable. Okay, and then we're gonna open that up, and then we'll return this morph 2. Okay, and that just will allow you to attach it to other models. Okay, and the other thing we need to do in here also is put the relationship to the user. Okay, so public function user, and the reason we're adding this to user is because we're going to create another trait using this like model. Okay, so return this belongs to, and then it's going to be user class. Okay, so now we can start setting up the trait. So we can close the table because we don't need that, the migration, and then we'll go into our traits folder, and we'll add a new trait, and we'll call this trait likable.php. Okay, and then we'll add the PHP tags up top. Okay, this text editor, this extension really does not like me. Okay, so then we'll give it the namespace of app traits, and come on, and then we'll create the trait here, open up likable, and for now that's good. So let's go ahead and start adding it to the user model. Okay, so here we'll scroll up, and HI can use it here, likable, and let's make sure that that gets imported up top, and it has. Okay, and now we can close this out, close out the friendable, and do we need this? No, we're done in here, and close that one. And the first function that we can use, we're going to call this like. So public function like. Okay, and in it, let me move this down. In it, we're going to add a query. Okay, and then we're going to add query likes, so meaning the user likes, create, and we'll open up, we need semicolon there, open that up. Okay, and here we're going to add user ID, and we're going to put single quotes around that, equals this ID. So it's going to be the user ID. Okay, oh, and here we're going to do comma, and then like, we're going to make this like a 1. Okay, then we can just return back. So now to handle these like functions, in the end, we're going to create 2 different controllers for them. One is going to be for posts, and one is going to be for comments. And if you had something else that you wanted to add like to, I would suggest creating another controller for whatever that is. So let's say it's, I don't know, images, like profile pictures or whatever, you would create another controller for that. That's just how I would do it. I would rather have a lot of controllers and have them stick to the default functions in them than just to create new functions within the controller if I can avoid it. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the controller. So it's going to be PHP artisan make controller, and then we'll put it in the user folder, and we're going to call it post like controller, and then we're also going to attach the model of post. to it. Okay, great. So now let's open that controller, post like controller. Okay, and now we're going to head down to the store method. Okay, and then we're going to need the post in here. We'll create the route in a second, but we're going to need the post variable in here. So we can go ahead and add that up here as well. So it'll be app models post and the variable of post. Okay, so the function itself is, we're just going to return auth user, and the function that we just created in the trait, in the likable trait, is like. Okay, so everything that we need to happen will happen through here. We're just calling it in the controller. Okay, so we're gonna like, and what we are gonna like is the post that we have coming in. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the route. So we'll go to web routes. Okay, and let's just put it under these. That's fine. So let me move this down, and then it'll be route prefix, and then the prefix will be post like, and the name will be post like, and then it's going to be a group because we're going to have a few different routes in here. Group function, and we'll open this up. Okay, and so our first route is going to be route post, and we are going to, once again, root model binding, we're going to add the post in here, and then add the controller, so it's post like controller class, and the method is store, and then the name is just going to be store. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to create some components. Okay, so we'll go back to the post item. We are going to create a component for like, and then we'll create a component for dislike. So let's start with the first one. Let me go back to the right terminal. Okay, so in this post comment folder here, we're going to create another folder, and we are going to call this folder likes. Okay, and the first one we're going to make is like.view. Okay, so we'll just add html. We'll add that, and we're just going to add like. And then we'll do the JavaScript. Okay, and then in post item, we can get rid of this now and put in the like component. Okay, so let's go ahead and import that now. So import like from @components / post comment / likes / like. Okay, and now we can add it to our script. So components, curly braces, and then we're just going to add like in here. Okay, so let's see if we can actually see that on the page. Do I have an error? Comments, post comment, likes, like. Okay, we're good. So we'll go ahead and refresh, and it should just say like, but in lowercase now. And it does. Fantastic. Okay, so now, just like we did with the post form, we're going to add the form down here, and then that information we're going to pass through to this like component that we just made here. Okay, so we can do comma, and then this we're going to call like form. Okay, and it's going to be this inertia form, curly braces, and then in here we're going to pass user post, and it's going to be this post. Okay, and then we're going to come down to our methods and do it under delete post. We'll do comma, and the method we'll call is submit like. Open that up, and then it'll be this dot like form dot post, and it'll be this route post like dot store. We're gonna add this post, and then outside of that parentheses we're gonna open up some curly braces, and then preserve scroll is gonna be true, and then on success with an empty function, an anonymous function, equals, and then we'll just leave that empty for now. Okay, so now we can go back up to the component and start passing in those props. So because we're making a dynamic, we want to give it a fairly generic name, so we'll just call it item, and then the item that we're passing is post, and then the method that we're passing will be submit like. Okay, now let's go in here into the like component, and in here we are just going to, we can get rid of this and just open it up. We need to accept the props, so props, the first one is item and the next one is method. Okay, so now for this div we can add a few classes on there. We'll just do flex and items center. Okay, and then inside we're just going to add a span tag, and we'll just hard code it 5 for now. Okay, then we're going to have a form, get rid of the action, and it'll be at submit, and then we'll just add the method, but we do need to put dot prevent in here. Okay, and I'll open up the form tags. We're gonna have a button, just a regular, we're just gonna make the icon a button. So it'll be a type of submit. The class is focus outline none, and then we need to put in an icon. So in the icon folder I've already copied some icons, and this is just the thumbs up and the thumbs down icon. Okay, so we can go ahead and now just in the component, just add that component. Okay, and it's already styled and everything. So let's refresh and make sure that this stuff's coming in. Okay, cool. So there's our thumbs up. You can hover it and it has a hover state. And we hard coded this 5. So let's go look at our database real quick. We'll open it up. And we don't have the likes yet. So we need to migrate that database. So we'll go back to our terminal. And it'll be PHP artisan migrate. Enter. Okay, so now we'll go back and refresh this. Okay, and now we have it. So we'll open that up. And as you can see, it's empty. So let's go ahead and try to click this and see if our function works. So we'll click like. So now this is a quick edit from the future. Once we clicked like, we ended up getting this error come up. So I fixed it off screen. I didn't realize that I wasn't pressing record. So I'm just gonna add this in real quick to go back and show you how to fix it. Okay, so we needed to add in the post model the likes function. Okay, and all this does is return this morph many and then the likable trait, and this will clear up that error. I changed it later, but I changed it while I was recording, but like I said, I didn't click record, so I'm just adding that now. Okay, let's continue. The next function we need to add now is we don't need this post anymore and the icons. The next function we want to add to our likable is going to be the dislike function. Okay, so we can copy and paste this one because it's the same or similar. Okay, paste. We're going to call this dislike, and then query likes create. Now it's going to be dislike is equal to 1. Okay, so now we need to add that method to our controller, and we'll copy that one. We'll go down to destroy, paste, and let's see, let's move this up. And then we need to add, instead of like, it'll now be dislike. Okay, so now in the route, we need to add the other method. So we can copy and paste this. This will now be a delete. We'll keep post, and this, the method from the controller now will be destroy. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the same thing we did before. Okay, we'll go into post item. We'll go down to the data section. We can copy this one, paste it, and now this one will be dislike form. Okay, so again, we can go down, we can copy this one, copy, paste, and now we'll submit. We'll make this lowercase, so we'll submit dislike, and this will be dislike form. The method will be destroy. Everything else is the same, and now we need another component, so we can copy and paste this one and rename it. Copy, paste. Okay, we'll go ahead and rename it to dislike view, and everything will be the same except for thumbs down. instead of thumbs up for the icon. And then we need to bring it into the post item. Okay, so let's see, where is it? Okay, so let's copy and paste this one. And we'll change this to dislike. And we'll change this now, the method, to dislike. And then we need to also add that class. So class of ML2. And we can get rid of this. And now come down and import this stuff. So copy, paste, copy, paste, and then we'll go in here, here, and here, and we'll change this to dislike. Okay, so this one I'm going to bring it up. If you wonder why I keep moving these around, I like these things in alphabetical order. It just makes it a little bit neater for me. Okay, so now let's make sure. I don't think we need this terminal anymore. Okay, so that's done. Let me check this one more time and post. Oh, this actually needs to be delete. Okay, so let that compile. We'll go back and refresh. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try to click dislike. And that looks like it went through. Let's check our database. And now we have a dislike. Fantastic. So now one user shouldn't be able to both like and dislike a post. So we're going to go and change that now. Okay. So just like we did our friendable trait, we're going to add some extra functions in here to help these functions. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and put them, I'll put them up top this time. Okay, so this is the first one. So this is checking for whether or not a user has liked something already. Okay, so it's looking for where like equals 1, where the likable ID is the query ID, so that's the model. And the same thing with the likable type, and it's again the model, the class from the model. And then it's checking for the user ID, and it's giving us a count. Okay, so that's all that one's doing. Now the next one is going to be checking for whether or not a user has disliked something. So it's the same thing, but it's now checking for the dislike field in the database. Okay. Now another one, we're going to add a couple more. So now another one is going to be checking whether it's going to be so that the user can change from like to dislike. Okay, so now the likes, we have a variable in here. So the likes equals the query likes, where like equals 1, where dislike equals 0, where the user ID equals this ID first. That's what it's looking for. And the likes, this variable, like, we're going to subtract it 1. And if the likes, it's dislikes, then we're going to add 1. And then it's going to go ahead and update. Okay, so that's to change it from like to dislike. It's going to make sure to remove it from the likes table, from the like, in order to add the dislike. Okay, and the next one is going to change it in reverse from like to dislike. It's going to add 1 and then subtract 1 from the dislike, but it's the same thing, just in reverse. Okay, so now I'm going to change this this like function that we have to include those checks. Okay, so the first one is going to be for the like. So I'll go ahead and paste it in here. And so it's the same function, but now the first check is if this ID, meaning the user ID, equals the query ID and not is friends with the query user ID. Okay, meaning if we aren't friends, I shouldn't be able to like your post either. This is something we're going to be using in the next one, in further down when we get into the profile, the user profiles and being able to like and dislike. Okay, and so it's checking if this has liked, then return back. If this has disliked, change to like, return back. Else, the likes create and then return back. Okay, it'll make more sense when we actually show it. Okay, and so now the last one is going to be for the dislike, where, okay, so once again, if the user ID does not equal this user ID that we're passing in, and this is not friends with the user ID, okay, then we'll just return back. Else, if this has disliked the query, the user already has disliked, then we'll return back. If the user has liked, then we can now change it to dislike and then return back. Or we can, if all of that fails, then we can just create the like or create the dislike with the user ID. Okay, so now let's I know that was a lot, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and empty out the database real quick, just so we can see it clearer. So we'll go down, empty the table, and then while that's doing that, we'll go ahead and refresh the page. Okay, so now let's check it out and make sure it actually is empty. And it is. Now let's check our page. Okay, so now we'll click liked first. Okay, that went through. Let's check the database. Likes. And there it is. Now we'll go back to the page. Now we'll click dislike. Okay, so that's gone through. No error. Let's check the database. Refresh it. Okay, so now like is gone from 1 to 0. Dislike is now 1. Okay, now the other thing we can do is check to see if this will go through again, and it shouldn't. We should only still have the 1 dislike. We'll refresh, and as you can see, we still only have 1 dislike. Okay, fantastic. So now we need a way of displaying this to the front end. Okay, so if we go to our View DevTools and open up, let's say, the first item, pages, combined posts, we'll go to the first one. Okay, we don't actually have a liked item for this. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we are going to eager load it into the post. Let me show you what I mean. So we're good with this. We don't need this anymore. Okay, we can close that, and we can close the controller also and the web routes. Okay, so now let's go to the post model. Okay, we are going to add this. Okay, so now Laravel has this cool thing with attributes where you can sort of customize an attribute and then append it to the model. Okay, so the fields that we're going to be appending are liked and disliked. Okay, so then we have a liked attribute and a disliked attribute. Okay, it's very important that they're named the same as what you're appending. Okay. So for instance, get liked attribute. So it's going to check for the post model likes, where like equals 1, and then it's going to ask for the likable ID, it's going to ask for the likable type, and then get the count of it. Okay, and it's going to do the same for the dislike, where it's looking for dislike 1, and then the likable ID and the likable type, and it'll grab the count. Okay, so now if we go ahead and refresh this, okay, and we go down to the item, okay, we'll bring this up. Now in the post prop, we now have a liked and a disliked, and this is the count. So now we can use this count, and this count, and we can use them in here instead of hard coding the 5 and the 5. Okay, so let's go see how we can do that. So we'll start with the liked one. And because we have the item, which is the post, already coming into this component, we can now add some curly braces and just have item liked. Okay, and then we can do the same for the dislike. Curly braces, item disliked. Okay, so now we should see something other than the 5. So we'll refresh. Okay, and now we have 0 likes and 1 dislike. Okay, so let's click like, and that should update. There it is. And if you try to click it again, it's only going to be the 1. And then now you can click 0 or the dislike, and now it'll go back and forth. Okay, fantastic. So one thing that you might want to consider doing in your own projects, which I didn't do in this one, is if the authenticated user has either liked or disliked, that maybe will change this color. So if you're on Facebook, you would see it, and I'm not sure what other app does it, but if you were to do that, then it would highlight blue. You know, if you were the one who, let's say we're the authenticated user, we just dislike this post, and now this will be blue for us, then that might be something you want to consider doing. I didn't do it in this one, I just kept it as simple as possible, but that might be something that you'd want to do in your own projects, just as a, you know, as a side note or a suggestion. Okay, in the next episode, we are going to be adding the ability to add add comments to these posts, and then also an additional liking capability. Okay, if you guys have any questions or run into any errors, just go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can, because this was, I know it's a lot. So I'm gonna leave it here for now. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Oh, and one more thing, I will be pushing this code up to GitHub, so you don't have to stress over trying to copy or to type along with me. You can just grab the code from GitHub, if that makes things easier for you. Okay, so once again, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.